The Honourable Bill English, Acting Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to move a motion without notice condemning the terrorist attacks in Paris on Friday the 13th of November.
Is there any objection to that course of action being followed? There is none. The Honourable Bill English, Acting Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I move that this House condemn the terrorist attacks in Paris and extend its condolences to the families and friends of those killed and injured. I'd also like to acknowledge Her Excellency Mrs Florence Jean-Blanc Riesler, France's Ambassador to New Zealand, who is in the Speaker's gallery today. Mr Speaker, New Zealanders were deeply shocked by the brutal events that unfolded in Paris 3 days ago. Our hearts go out to the innocent people caught up in this despicable act of terrorism. In particular, we extend our deepest condolences to those who have lost loved ones, as well as those who were injured, some of whom are still fighting for their lives. As our Prime Minister has said, New Zealand stands shoulder to shoulder with France in a global fight against terror. Sadly, this is the latest in a series of terrorist attacks on innocent communities around the world. Like France, New Zealand values, if not takes for granted, peace, security and freedom. These attacks in Paris were directed at these core values. It's abhorrent to us that people going about their daily lives were gunned down in cold blood in an act designed purely for the purpose of killing as many as possible. This is an assault on the democratic freedoms that we cherish. After the attacks, the New Zealand government responded immediately to check on the well-being of New Zealanders known to be in Paris. The Prime Minister also conveyed his sympathies to the President of France. The Prime Minister will express those sympathies in person to the President when he attends the Conference of Parties on Climate Change in Paris later this month. Finally, Mr Speaker, I can inform the House that a condolence book has been set up in the foyer of Parliament for visitors and staff to express their condolences. Thank you.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, a city that represents the best about our civilisation has been attacked by those who want to return us to the worst kind of barbarism, and the opposition stands with the government and condemns the attacks in the strongest possible terms. Mr Speaker, we support the efforts to track down and bring to justice the perpetrators of this atrocity. Let's remember why these attacks occur. It's not only about extremists killing innocent civilians. The perpetrators of these acts do them to cause fear and terror amongst all citizens of the free world. They win when we succumb to the fear that they foster. They win when we respond only with anger and hatred. They win when we turn on ourselves and on our peaceful communities and others in our communities. They win when our only response is revenge and retribution. They win when we feel that the only way to be safe is when we abandon our freedoms and curtail our rights as citizens of the free world. When confronted with the barbarism of the sort we saw on the weekend, barbarism that kills and maims the innocent, the urge for revenge and retribution is real and it is human. In our shock and in our anger, we want to avenge, to exact an equal price. But it is when the urge for revenge is greatest that our humanity must take over, our sense of ourselves as loving and peaceful and just people. For just as the perpetrators of this gross violence wish us to cower in fear to their warped tyranny, so also do they want to see us abandon our humanness. And we must never do that, because to do so is to yield to their fear-mongering, and we must never concede to fear. As we deal with our shock, our anger, our revulsion, our vitriol, our insistence on justice in the face of the grossest injustice, we must never fear the path of peace. We might have differences of party in this Parliament, but we are united by our humanity. Let us stand in solidarity with the people of Paris and all France, and in solidarity with all peoples of the world to achieve a just peace.
Mr. Speaker.
Dr. Kennedy Graham.
Mr. Speaker, the Green Party stands with the people of France in their moment of grief and trauma. To paraphrase a valiant leader from a century ago, your sons and daughters so cruelly slain in the city of Paris this Friday evening are our sons and daughters today. For we are united in sorrow and respect. Our hearts go out to the families of the fallen. We live in a new age in which humanity is divided, not only by ideas, but by standards. Our emerging notion of global morals and values, our sense of how to conduct ideas and interests, how to aspire to manage human conflict humanely, have themselves become subject to challenge. The means of conflict are never pretty, but the world is witness today to two forms of belief. One holds that there exists a threshold of behaviour below which no human, by virtue of being human, is expected or permitted to sink. The other is that there is no such threshold. What we have witnessed in the deserts in recent years, what we have witnessed in this new century of ours, in the streets of our cities all around the world, is barbarity of a kind unprecedented in the modern age. It is not that humans have never acted thus in the past. It is that we believed we had, through pain and effort, civilised ourselves to a higher point. However modestly so, we believe our values and morals today to be of a higher kind. As we look ahead, the art of global leadership, to be shared by the leaders of all nations, will be to agree on how to respond to such barbarity with stern and far-reaching effect while retaining the values we already hold dear as a young and fragile global community. We do not pretend today to have infallible insight into how that challenge is to be met, beyond affirming that our existing principles and institutions, enshrined essentially in the UN Charter and the Statute of Rome, are to be strictly respected. We are at a moment of reckoning. We cannot, in the heat of the moment, lose sight of what we have achieved over the past century, of what we hold dear, of where we wish to head. Perhaps, sir, we need to have a debate in this House on these very issues. Meanwhile, let us pay our respect to the fallen in Paris, and also in Beirut and Ankara and Moscow and Boston and Garissa, in Gaza and Jerusalem and Sana'a, and in the skies above Egypt. Let us pay our respect to the peoples and governments of these countries, and indeed of all countries on this planet that we share.
The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr. Speaker, New Zealand should speak on this crisis with one voice, and so we add our voice to this motion and we support views expressed by other members of this House. We want the French people to know that New Zealand is with them in their hour of grief and anguish at this despicable terrorist outrage. Vive la France!
The Honourable Te Urara Flavel.
Reo Māori. E te whare pāremata o tātou tēnā tātou katoa. Tēnei te tuaka ki te tautoku i ngā kōrero ko kōrero hia. Ai te whakai atu ki tā te ia o te kōrero ki te wairu o te kōrero. Engari kia hāngai tonu taku kōrero ki te honga kua mate. Me taku ki atu. E tū e heha te tāongi haere ai koutou ki te mate. He tāra tārau tētē. He pā tehe tehe. He huru huru whare riha. He papapaunamu ki te ringa kia mā whiti te karu e. He kupu kōrero tērā, e te māngai mo te hunga ko ngaro i te tirohanga kanohi. Tata ki te rua rau tāngata i pare kuratia i nā te āhuatanga o te hunga. Ko etahi i mate, ko etahi i puta, ko etahi ka reno kia kitea. Engari, i mahi wāratau mahi, nā rungi te riri, nā rungi te aha rānei, ko wai ka mōhio. Waiho tērā hunga kia rātau anō. I te tuatahi, me tangi ki ngā mate e kōrero hia nei. Ko ngā whānau, ko te hunga i noho nei, e kaputi nei, e kanikani nei, e mātakitaki nei, i te āhuatanga tā rātou noho i wiwi, he kore mohi o nō rātou, i reira tētahi nanakia, e whakaaro ake nei, ki te kōhuru i a rātou. Oira, me pēnei rawa te kōrero, koutou i te pō, e moi, e moi, e moi. Koutou, wiwi, te whenua wiwi, e tū pakare nei ki mui te araro o te huariri. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, kia kaha, kia toa, kia mana wanui. I ngā tau ko hipake, ko te Māori, i haere ki wiwi, i hehea no te ao Māori, o tira tēnei whenua ki te āwhini a wiwi, i rote ngā uauatanga o te pakanga. Ko te pakanga tuatahi tērā, nā rungi ngā ākia o tā āpirana ngata mā, tā te rangi hiroa mā, e atu ngā Māori ki tērā whenua. Nā te ao Māori anō rātou i whakaako ki te mahi, te ki o rahi, e rā momo āhutanga, o tira i rongo i ako nei ngā Māori i ngā waiata o wiwi. Tēnei rā, te ao Māori tēnei e tuake, ki te tautoki a koutou i te wā o te tangi, te wā o te aroha, te wā o te pauri, ke tāi ai koutou te puta ki te whai au ki te ao Mārama. Rō reira, koe nei tētahi paku kupu ki a koutou, kai aku rangatira o wiwi, o tira ngā mea o wiwi e noho nei ao te aroa nei. E whakaaro nui nei mo takutau whānau, kai wiwi e noho ana. Ka tangi ake, koe no te tāia te aha. Kia kaha, kia toa, kia mana wanui. Tētahi waiata hei āwhina, hei whakamāmā i te āhuatango te ngaua mamai, ka whai mai a kuaka nei. He kōrero e pēnei ana, te kōrero, mā wai, rā, e taurima te marae. E hari te mea ko te marae o te ao Māori, ngari, ara, ko te whenua te kōrero. Mā te aroha, mā te whakaaro nui a tētahi ki tētahi. Tēnā, he wai.
Mā waira e taurima te marae wa hone mā te tika mā te pono me te
Mā te tika, mā te pono, mā te aroha, koe nei nā kaupapa nui. Tēnā koutou, kia ora tātou.
David Seymour.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the ACT Party, I'd like to add my voice to those who have gone before and express the deepest sympathy and condolence for the victims, their families, those still recovering from injury, but also to all of the French people in this time of great suffering. Mr Speaker, as earlier speakers have alluded to, this attack does lead to questions about how a society like ours that has been so lucky to inherit the tenets of freedom, responsibility and tolerance should deal with and respond to those who do wish to do harm and are not tolerant. And for my part, I think that we should be prepared to have that debate and never afraid to state the values that make our country great. But today we should be giving our condolences to the people of France. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it.